So Trevor Lawrence, coming out of the University of Clemson, was widely regarded and accepted as an all-time great draft prospect coming out of the quarterback position compared to the likes of guys like John Elway, Andrew Luck, Peyton Manning, and some of the other great quarterbacks that we've seen coming out of college. And Trevor Lawrence, through the first 22 games of his young NFL career, has had a lot of inconsistencies, and there's been a lot of question marks and red flags concerning Trevor Lawrence. And it brings up the question to not just Jaguar fans, but to NFL fans everywhere. Is Trevor Lawrence a bust? And what is going on with Trevor Lawrence? Have we overrated this young man? And I'm here to talk about today why Trevor Lawrence is absolutely not a bust and why he's far from being a bust. I'm going to break this video down specifically into 3 topics. The first part, I'm going to talk about Trevor Lawrence in his rookie season in its totality. The second part, I will talk about Trevor Lawrence compared to 2 specific quarterbacks that I have, one from the present and one from the past. And lastly, I'll end up talking about Trevor Lawrence in the first 5 games of his sophomore campaign so far, what's gone right, what hasn't gone right, and where the Jaguars and where NFL fans are currently viewing Trevor Lawrence through these first 5 games of the season. And 2 things lastly before we get into today's video is, 1, yes, I'm wearing a turtleneck. I feel good. I look good. And if you guys are going to get on to me and call me, the biggest Trevor Lawrence stan out there, you know what? I want to look good while I'm doing it. And secondly is I'm a firm, proud supporter and believer in Trevor Lawrence. And I have absolutely 0 problems backing him up because that's the right thing to do, but also the evidence speaks for itself. So let's get into the first topic. So the first topic, let's talk about Trevor Lawrence's rookie season in its totality. And I think Jaguar fans, the NFL fans, and the NFL media has widely regarded and lamented the fact on many occasions that Urban Meyer was not only the worst head coach in NFL history at bare minimum, he was a top 3 worst head coach in its history of the game. Trevor Lawrence is a rookie. At the end of the day, there's plenty of rookies who go through rookie ups and downs. There's rookies that burst onto the scene, and there's rookies that just absolutely struggle, and it takes them time to get their feet wet and acclimated to the NFL game. Me, I was there for week 1 of Trevor Lawrence's NFL debut and Urban Meyer's NFL debut in Houston. Trevor Lawrence showed a lot of promise, and he had a lot of inconsistencies as well too. Something you expect out of a young quarterback and any young player in the NFL, especially in their first game. Trevor Lawrence had a lot of inconsistencies throughout his rookie season, and there were an immense amount of injuries as well when you look at the Jaguars, especially on the offensive side of the ball last season. You talk about Jamal Agnew having a hip injury, you talk about Dan Arnold having a season-ending injury, Travis Etienne missed his entire rookie season due to that Liz Frank injury, and then you also looked over on the offensive side of the ball too, with guys consistently not stepping up to the occasion. Laviska Shenault had a huge sophomore slump in his second year, and in Trevor Lawrence's rookie season, Marvin Jones Jr. proved to be the only consistent wide receiver on the Jaguars, who is an aging veteran who's still a very good player, and I got nothing but love for Marvin Jones Jr. James Robinson had a season-ending injury, and there was a lot of things outside of just the coaching staff that could have gone wrong for the Jaguars, and a lot did go wrong for the Jaguars in 2021 in Trevor Lawrence's rookie season. He was not put in a position to succeed, and there was just ultimately a lot of factors and variables in the way that limited Trevor Lawrence's ability to flourish and possibly play like a franchise and quote generational talent at the quarterback position in his rookie season. And we're all obviously going to lament the fact consistently time and time again that Urban Meyer was just that damn bad. He truly was, and that's the number 1 factor. Let's move into the second topic. Let's actually talk about Trevor Lawrence right now compared to some other quarterbacks, one from the present and one from the past. So Trevor Lawrence, who is currently 23 years of age, who has not even played 24 games in his young NFL career. He's played in 22 appearances. He's 5-17. Let's talk about Trevor Lawrence's rookie season and just how bad it was when you look at the statistical numbers. Trevor Lawrence in 2021, 3,641 yards, 12 touchdowns to 17 interceptions, and he had a 59.6 completion percentage, so just under 60%, which by NFL standards, that's not very good at the quarterback position. Let's talk about Peyton Manning in his rookie season. 1998, Peyton Manning had a 3-13 record. Trevor Lawrence was 3-14 his rookie season. Peyton Manning in 1998, 3,739 yards, 26 touchdowns to 28 28 interceptions, and had a completion percentage of 56.7. Let's talk about a current quarterback now with Bills quarterback in 2018, Josh Allen, former first-round pick. Josh Allen in his rookie season was 5-6, had a 52.8 completion percentage, 10 touchdowns to 12 interceptions. Let's talk about Josh Allen's first full year starting in 2019. He had a great 10-6 record, but still a 58.8 completion percentage, 20 touchdowns to 9 interceptions. And you saw some great improvement there from Josh Allen. But you still took a second year and said, okay, we think that there can be more. Let's talk about Peyton Manning in his second year. 13-3 record, 4,135 yards, 26 touchdowns, 15 interceptions still, and a 62.1 completion percentage. So all of these guys took a nice and significant leap. Now let's take a look at Trevor Lawrence in his sophomore campaign so far in 2022, and we're only 5 games in. Trevor Lawrence, as of right now, 1,232 yards, which ranks 14th in the NFL, so above average, and he's on pace for 4,185 yards, which is just a tick above Peyton Manning's 4,135 yards his sophomore season. Trevor Lawrence is 8 touchdowns right now, which is 9th in the NFL among all quarterbacks, so top 10, which means he's on pace for 27 touchdowns this season. Trevor Lawrence has 4 interceptions, which is tied for 17th, so just not very good there in terms of taking care of the ball in terms of interceptions. But you know what? I'll give him a pass on that Hail Mary, but at the end of the day, he has 4 interceptions, and he's on pace for 13 this season. So he's on pace for 4,185 yards, 27 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, which means that he would have better than a 2-to-1 touchdown ratio in his sophomore season with a brand new head coach, a brand new system, and really his first full year under some competent coaching and a competent coaching staff around him in general. Trevor Lawrence also improved his completion percentage as of right now at a 62.4% completion percentage, and his QBR is ranked 13th in the NFL. So let me get this straight, you guys. Trevor Lawrence, through the first 5 games of his sophomore season, is currently ranked 14th in passing yards, which is above average. He's top 10 in touchdowns. He's tied for 17th in interceptions, which he also has 4 fumbles. I forgot to mention that, which all came from the Philadelphia game, so that's the only game where he's fumbled. And he's also top 15 and above average in QBR as well too. So Trevor Lawrence clearly is having a sophomore surge. He's clearly taken a significant jump, yet we want to lament to the fact that Trevor Lawrence is not playing like a great quarterback. He has not proven to be a franchise quarterback. He has not proven that he can be a clutch quarterback. There's a lot of different variables and factors that people want to throw out there, and all of this speculation that I completely disregard. I find it utterly ridiculous. I find it egregious. I think it's a horrendous take, to say none the least, that Trevor Lawrence has not been a great quarterback and has not taken that next step in his second season. Now let's get into this last topic. Now getting into this last topic, let's talk about what Trevor Lawrence has done through these first 5 games. People wanted to crucify him and call him out in the Washington Commanders game and say that he cost us the game, and rightfully so. He did lose us that game in some variables and some factors, but you could also talk about in the second half, Terry McLaurin and a blown coverage in the back end by Shaquille Griffin and Andre Sisco. And you know what? That's neither here nor there. Trevor Lawrence could have played a little bit better. Let's talk about the other losses that the Jaguars had. 13-6 versus the Houston Texans. You guys want to crucify Trevor Lawrence? Rightfully so. You are more than welcome to crucify Trevor Lawrence. And the one big boneheaded play I've seen out of Trevor Lawrence throughout his young NFL tenure and career was that 3rd and 1 where he got that interception to Derek Stingley Jr. in the end zone. That is by far the worst play I've ever seen by Trevor Lawrence, but we're 22 games in. Fixable mistake. Run the ball. It's that simple. And in that Philadelphia game, Trevor Lawrence had 4 fumbles in that game. He did not play great. He did not take care of the ball, but the Jaguars only lost by 1 possession to the best team in the NFL as of right now. Trevor Lawrence has not even played 24 games. Trevor Lawrence is currently 23 years of age. We took him with the number 1 overall pick in last year's draft. And if you guys want to keep calling me out for defending him, not seeing the light, you want to say that Trevor Lawrence does not have that clutch gene when he's had a few opportunities in his young career to be able to take the Jaguars to get a game-winning field goal, to get a possible game-winning touchdown, you know what? You're more than welcome to feel that way. You're absolutely entitled to feel that way. And I'm entitled to my own opinions. I'm entitled to defend this young quarterback. But Trevor Lawrence clearly has taken all the right steps and the necessary steps in order to make a sophomore surge, and he is absolutely ascending before our very eyes. Has he been a little bit inconsistent? Yes. Has he been a little bit off with some of his throws? Absolutely. But I have seen plenty of occasions where, not just last season, including this season and including the Week 5 loss to the Houston Texans, where receivers are constantly dropping passes. Receivers are not getting open. It happens, okay? Trevor Lawrence has not been perfect, and neither has the players, okay? And I got 2 more things that I want to say before I end this. Josh Allen in his 3rd year. Let's actually talk about that. When Josh Allen broke out onto the scene, which I should have talked about this earlier, Josh Allen in 2020 went 13-3, had a completion percentage of 69.2%, 37 touchdowns to 10 interceptions. And guess what the magic variable was outside of Josh Allen being in the 3rd year in the NFL, where he was a lot more acclimated to the game and speed, and he continued to work on his technique and his prowess? Guess who the Buffalo Bills acquired in 2020? They acquired a top 5 wide receiver in football, and they got Stephon Diggs, who is now probably a top 3 wide receiver in football. And Stephon Diggs, in his 1st year in Buffalo, Josh Allen's 3rd year in the NFL, 127 receptions, 1,535 yards, 8 touchdowns. Give Trevor Lawrence a damn number 1 receiver. And I'm not sitting here trying to make excuses saying that the roster construction's incorrect. I'm just saying the Buffalo Bills and all of these quarterbacks and all of these teams around the league that have a young franchise quarterback, they're going out and getting a top wide receiver, and they're getting legit skill position players everywhere for these young quarterbacks to succeed. Look at Tua Tagovailoa in the Miami Dolphins and what that front office did in order to get Jalen Waddle and in order to acquire Tyreek Hill from the Kansas City Chiefs. Look at Josh Allen and look at what the Buffalo Bills did to get Josh Allen to take that year 3 step and to emerge as an elite quarterback in the game by acquiring Stephon Diggs. Look at the Raiders going to acquire Devontae Adams. Look at the Bengals going to acquire Jamar Chase in the draft. You go and get elite wide receivers and you get elite skill position players to help out Trevor Lawrence. I can assure you, with Doug Peterson and Trevor Lawrence's abilities, he is going to ascend. And I'm not sitting here making excuses. I still think that there's still a lot of great skill position players, and I believe in these guys, and I believe in Press Taylor and Doug Peterson. So I'm not making that excuse. I'm just saying, let's just keep it fair. Christian Kirk, Marvin Jones Jr., Zay Jones, all of these guys, none of these guys are Stephon Diggs or Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle or Jamar Chase, and they don't need to be. These guys are great at what they do, and I believe in the scheme that Press Taylor and Doug Peterson put around Trevor Lawrence and these guys. All I'm saying is the Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence, and the rest of this team has clearly shown a significant improvement from last year. And at the end of the day, Trevor Lawrence is clearly showing you that he is having a great sophomore campaign so far. He's playing as an above average quarterback, whether you want to diss it or not. And Trevor Lawrence is on pace to have a better sophomore season than Josh Allen and Peyton Manning. So the fact that I have to get on here, like I said, and even defend Trevor Lawrence like this, and the fact that there's fans and media that speculate whether Trevor Lawrence is a bust or not, it's egregious. It's horrendous. It's an abomination on their names. And Jaguar fans that think like that, like I said, you're entitled to your own opinion, but be reasonable, be rational. This shouldn't even be a topic. I shouldn't even need to talk about this, but here I am making the world's longest video. So you know what? I'm just going to wrap it up and say, if you guys enjoyed today's video, man, make sure you guys drop me a thumbs up. It takes 1 second and it helps me in the channel out tremendously. And if you guys are new here, consider hitting that subscribe bell to stay tuned for more NBA, UCF, and Jaguars content that I do here on YouTube. And make sure y'all go follow me on my socials, especially on Twitter. I'm very active and I'm on there every single day. Jaguar fans, NFL fans, please let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I'm very intrigued, and I will say that a majority of NFL fans and Jaguar fans that are actually reasonably level-headed would say that Trevor Lawrence is not a bust and that he's shown a lot of improvement, but that's just my 2 cents with it. I'm going to continue to defend Trevor Lawrence until proven otherwise. But that's it for this video. Thank you guys again for sticking around throughout the whole video. Brett James, aka BJ, I'm out, y'all. Go Jags, baby. Peace.